in response to concerns about climate change. In November of 2021, investors representing $130 trillion in assets pledged to support a global transition to a carbon-neutral economy. How can it be done? Who will lead the way? Nature-based solutions to climate change are among the most effective and scalable options available, and the Amazon forest region may be the most strategic.
And we just yesterday, actually, we released a report called Nature and Net Zero that shows that natural climate solutions can deliver up to 1/3 of net emissions reductions by 2030. A challenge for the sustainable bioeconomy in the Amazon, where we want to identify the ecopreneurs that are already working with business models that regenerate nature.
Founded in 2020, the Amazon Investor Coalition works to unite investors, philanthropists, and corporate buyers to scale sustainable bioeconomies in the Amazon. Investors are central stakeholders whose skills and access to finance are needed to facilitate the protection and sustainable development of the region. Infrastructure investments in the Amazon have a problematic history. While hydroelectric electricity powers the region, dams sometimes displace people and drown large areas of forest. Oil drilling and mining sometimes poison people in waterways and often increase criminality.
Speaking, we have the territory of the Yanomami being invaded after 10-15 days. We have a group of gold miners come inside territory with machine guns.
I come from an indigenous community in the Ecuadorian Amazon. And for as long as I can remember, my community has been fighting against oil extraction.
The historic creation of roads has offered quick profits, but facilitated deforestation while worsening local poverty. As an original source of rubber and timber, there was a rapid transition to cattle ranching and soy agriculture in the 1980s and 90s, helping to accelerate deforestation even further. Today, deforestation is responsible for up to 20% of carbon emissions, and investors are rushing to remove this liability from their balance sheets to avoid legal, political, and reputational risks.
And within that, there's around 9 trillion of assets under management that have committed to deforestation tree value chains or to investing in nature positive outcomes.
Fortunately, the deforestation economy can be replaced by forest positive economies that could earn over $150 billion more per year for local populations. The math is simple. Cattle ranching earns $250 per year per hectare, while guava fruit trees earn over $10,000. Many species earn even more. Trees restore the ecosystem, while pasture degrades it. We estimate that cattle and soy earn local Amazonians nearly $20 billion per year on a geographical footprint of 53 million hectares. In contrast, agroforestry polycultures could earn nearly $175 billion per year in the same area while sequestering gigatons of carbon, as well as restoring rainfall and creating prosperity. How can investors help these forest-positive economies come to scale? The relevant industries are many and diverse. They include fruits, nuts, fibers, tree oils, fragrances, pigments, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, ecotourism, ecosystem restoration, carbon sequestration, biodiversity protection, and much more. The market potentials for such industries are huge. One popular fruit, for example, is acai, which is projected to become a $2 billion market by 2025. The industry employs hundreds of thousands of families, creating economic cycles that protect forests.
Replanting the Amazon in whatever kind of fashion, agroforestry systems or whatever, I think it's time that we start talking not just of containing deforestation, but also let's say, releasing entrepreneurial spirit to replant the Amazon in a profitable way. I think that would be the best way, because to that, there is no opposition. To that, you're going to create jobs, you're going to make people richer, and you're going to have a great impact on the environment.
Acai is one of dozens of exotic Amazonian products that are still just beginning to reach international markets. Others are already well established, such as cocoa, coffee, palm oil, and Brazil nuts. What are the largest potential opportunities? A 2021 study by Salo Kozlowski and Amazonian 2030 reports that the Brazilian Amazon exports 64 forest-compatible products, but that they collectively make up only 0.17% of their corresponding markets. There is room for growth.
The global market for the 64 products is $176 billion. So each one of these green balls represents $1 billion. We have 176 of those. To find the share of the Brazilian Amazon has 1/3 of the global tropical forests, 33% roughly. Its market share in the products it already produces and exports is 0.17.
In the short term, most new economic growth will come from food, agriculture, and land use transitions. Agroforestry, carbon, and biodiversity markets have a bright future. But how big could these markets become? We estimate that reforestation of the Brazilian Amazon alone could sequester $3 trillion worth of carbon, according to current European Union rates. Some big investors and philanthropic organizations are jumping in deep.
And companies like Mercuria, they basically can enable the flow of resources from a global carbon market directly to the ground, directly to where things are happening.
Launched a new funders collaborative called Forest People Climate, which is aiming to raise at least $1.2 billion in private philanthropic resources.
If these market opportunities are so big, then why haven't they been realized already? The Amazon is remote and lacks some of the infrastructure needed to compete in traditional ways. Where some people see distance from markets and lack of technology as obstacles, others see them as opportunities to get involved early. How much investment is currently happening in the Amazon region, and what are the pathways to scale?
Go for more than 2 decades now has been a venture fund for nature. We're a women-owned and women-managed investment manager for Latin America, and we invest in nature-based companies that have partnerships with local communities.
In total, we identified investors representing an estimated $2.5 billion who are focused on the Amazon bioeconomy, with up to $5 billion more ready to follow. To date, they have already deployed at least $235 million and possibly as much as $528 million. Their top 5 industries are: 1. Sustainable agriculture and agroforestry. 2. Reforestation and ecosystem restoration. 3. Carbon and ecosystem markets. 4. Food and beverage. And 5. Forestry management.
In nature-based solutions, blended capital, philanthropic capital, could play a tremendously important role at this stage in 2, 3, 4 years from today to the future. And that's, I think it's the space of time that we need to develop better the carbon markets. When the carbon markets are really developed, private commercial capital will flow very aggressively.
Some investors say that they have money in hand, but the qualified investment opportunities are hard to find, and the pipeline is underdeveloped. To address the issue, a vibrant community of incubators, accelerators, and other entrepreneurship support organizations have sprung to life.
Our goal in the next 5 years is to search, invest, and support 30 startups that have relevant impact in the Amazon's economy.
We understand that there is an opportunity to fill a gap between the companies and startups in early stage to prepare them and accelerate them until they become eligible to venture capital.
Experiments in revenue-based financing are needed to help minimally profitable groups to gain scale without debt or loss of equity. Philanthropic partners are needed to provide fund guarantees, subordinate tranches of debt instruments, first loss capital, and other kinds of blended finance. New types of forest-appropriate insurance programs are needed as well to help calculate and spread risk. And corporate procurement buyers are needed to signal demand and leverage financial resources.
Natura's treasury already anticipates, right, part of the purchase agreements it has with the community. So we have purchase agreements with around 40 communities in the Amazon, and we anticipate with no interest 30% of the value of the contracts that we have.
Natural asset companies coming to market. I mean, this by design is a financial instrument that allows, custodians, stewards of natural areas, the means, the capital to continue what they're already doing.
There are already some commercial successes of note in the region. Founded in 2009, 100% Amazonia has become a leading trader of Amazonian products.
But aside from açaí, we also sell oils and butters from 16 different oil seeds from the Amazon. And also another bunch of products like guaraná, camu camu. Well, in total, what we have now is a portfolio of 50 products from 25 different species.
Founded in 2014, Maniaca is a B Corp backed by Morova Natural Capital. It has had success in Brazilian markets and is now exporting overseas.
To be aware on how to connect the Amazonian ingredients, cultures, and necessities, and as well as its potential to customers and to the market.
There are successful tech companies too, such as the satellite carbon and forest monitoring startup Pachama.
Harnessing the latest on remote sensing and artificial intelligence technologies to improve the carbon markets that can be a great source of funding for conservation and restoration of forests in the Amazon.
AgroSmart, a precision agriculture startup founded in 2014, leverages their technology to facilitate new financial products.
We did a pilot with Bradesco, Brazil level, not only Amazonia, in 2021, where they offered us a discount at the credit because our farmers are less risky, because they have data, they understand them better.
And Umgrau Email, a newcomer using artificial intelligence, satellite imagery, and high-resolution cameras to halt deforestation.
So we developed Pantera, which is our fire management platform as a service that translates the foundations of firefighting into tech solutions for prevention, early detection, and fast response.
Getting involved in the Amazon starts with understanding the local context, connecting with people on the ground, and practicing empathy and active listening.
Is in that deep personal relationship with people who in turn can have deep personal relationships with the forest and with their nature.
But to further develop and scale the Amazonian entrepreneurial ecosystem, investment is needed, with capital flowing from global allies to local actors.
We are working on the platform also, and this is why we need to triangulate, and this is very good effect of the Amazon Investor Coalition to match effort to basically see how we can put together much more support at the field level to be able to identify as much possible good ideas on the field.
To help investors learn more about the opportunities in the Amazon region, we host programs that showcase Amazon-focused funds and investment-ready impact businesses. We match potential co-investors and advise on blended finance arrangements. We share high-level insights on the region. We offer educational content, such as recording archives from our global summits on Amazon investing, and much more. Join us to get involved in the Amazon and make your mark on climate today. Visit AmazonInvestor.org.